Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum assalam.
Welcome to Member Spotlight. Today we have Hasan Brohi, based out of Virginia, and he runs a cybersecurity company. So, Hasan, please share with us how you got to where you are today. Just walk us through your journey.
Sure, absolutely. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Hasan. I've been working in cybersecurity for over 15 years. Primarily, I work in the identity access management area where I design and architect solutions for my customers. I work primarily in the federal government sector. Um, and so my journey to becoming a CEO and starting my own business began in about 2020, prior to really the pandemic beginning. Um, so I was in the process of, I had some issues that I was experiencing at my previous employer on the project I was at, and I decided I wanted to make a move. And a lot of my colleagues and peers, they kept encouraging me that I should go out on my own as opposed to becoming a W-2. They always said that, we have full faith and confidence in you that you would be able to have the chops to do it. So, I did a lot of, as Muslims, we really put our faith in our forefront in whatever we do. So, I made a lot of dua and istikhara, and it was not an easy decision to take that leap, to kind of risk it, leaving something that I was comfortable with, that I had security with, in order to go out on my own, and really putting your trust in Allah that you would be able to do that. So it was a bit of a process, and it took a little bit of courage to do it. So in about 2020, I ended up forming my own LLC at that time. And I didn't initially begin working under it and operating under it. I actually came to an agreement with my former employer where they didn't want to lose me, so they wanted to bring me back, and we came up to an agreement where I would actually partner with them as a subcontractor on the project that I was with. And at that time, that was when pandemic really started to speed up, and situation became a bit uneasy, and we were unsure about what the future would be for that. So I decided not to make that leap just yet. I decided to wait a little bit, but in the start of 2021, after my daughter was born, that's when I felt the courage, and I ended up making that move and switching over to my own LLC. And I was able to subcontract with my former employer. We have a great agreement going and a great partnership, and that was really the forefront of my decision to make that move.
Okay, that's good. And how has been the journey so far?
So I'll admit that starting it up was a bit of a process. Starting an LLC itself is not a difficult endeavor. You can just fill out the paperwork, submit it to the state and whatnot. But when you work in the federal government sector, if you're trying to work with the federal government, there's a lot more loops, and there's a lot more hoops that you need to go through in order to register yourself. So it was a bit of a learning process for myself to go through that. I didn't really have a mentor at the time. So, I tried to find as much information as I could on the internet, and, I would try to ask others as well and get their experience. So the first year or so was a bit of a learning process, but after it's like about 3 years now that I've been operating it. And I think after a year and a half is when I really started to feel comfortable and started to, have smooth sailing. So slowly making progress. I'm working on 2 contracts at the moment. We have some proposals in for a few more. So, inshallah, waiting to hear back on those, and hope to be successful in winning those as well.
All right, that's great to hear. So tell us a little bit more about HAB Technologies. What type of services do you provide?
Yeah, so we provide cybersecurity solutioning, primarily focused on identity access management, but I decided, it's time to branch out into other aspects of cybersecurity. So, it's obviously a very broad field, and it encompasses many different aspects of an organization. Dealing with things like asset management, vulnerability management, et cetera. So I've made that decision starting in 2024, where I'm bringing on people that will help expand my offerings beyond just identity management and focusing on other areas of cybersecurity as well. I'm
Okay.
also in the process of, as I mentioned earlier, I primarily worked in the federal sector,
Mhm.
but I also made that decision that now I want to expand out and look at other opportunities and markets. So, for example, state and local governments for products they might have, but also looking into the private sector and looking for opportunities out there as well. I know that it's a crowded market because cybersecurity is obviously a very hot field, but I feel that HAB Technologies is able to provide a unique service in that, we really put our customers first and foremost, and really trying to help guide them in the right path on what decisions they need to make when they develop a roadmap, and be their trusted consultant in their process of, developing that roadmap and implementing cybersecurity in their environment. So,
Okay. All right. So, talking about the industry of cybersecurity, what trends or changes do you foresee shaping your industry in the coming years?
there's quite a bit. It's always an ever evolving industry. One of the biggest things right now is obviously AI. There's a lot of unknowns with the government on how to regulate artificial intelligence. And there's been a lot of work to release standards and guidelines, and working with federal agencies to determine how they're preparing themselves and looking to leverage and protect themselves from artificial intelligence. So that's probably one of the biggest hot topics at the moment. Also, post-quantum cryptography is another one, and preparing it. These things might seem way down the line,
Mhm.
but it's best to start preparing for them ahead of time. So, the government's doing everything in its means to try and prepare government agencies in order to take that into account, in order to avoid any type of breaches by bad actors, whether they might be foreign government entities or just individuals. So artificial intelligence, post-quantum cryptography, blockchain, these are all very important trends that need to be taken into consideration by the government and everyone, not just the federal government, but obviously that's my specialty. So
Okay. All
those
right.
are things we're working on right now.
Okay. What do you enjoy most about your work?
So information technology and computer security or computer programming, everything, it's a very broad field. But my particular area that I work in, I really enjoy interacting with people. So, when I was in college and I was trying to figure out what degree I wanted in computer science, programming, I excelled in it, but I didn't want to be stuck behind a keyboard. So I like to interact with people, talk with people. And I feel like in my position that I'm in the contracts and projects I've worked on throughout my career, I've had the opportunity to interact with my customers and really develop a relationship. And then on top of that, as an enterprise architect, I also have the creative ability to, go into a customer's environment and think of unique solutions and try to design it and work with them hand in hand on that. So, being able to use my personal skills as well as my creativity, those are things that I really enjoy in my field.
Okay. All right. Where do you see your company to be in the next 2 to 3 years?
So, inshallah, I'm looking to expand and grow. We have a few contracts that we're waiting to win. And if they do, then I feel like that would be a launch pad to take it to the next level. There's also some, government certifications that I'm hoping to achieve, such as like an 8A certification and, also minority women's owned small business certification. And this would help open up a number of opportunities because the government really they limit some of these contracts to just those types of personnel, those types of businesses. So if I do achieve those, then it would open up a large floodgate of opportunities for me. And, I'm hoping to take advantage of that. And inshallah, then in the future, be able to see myself expanding to not just a small business, but a medium to large business. So that's the goal. And I know a lot of people in this area, they would often be acquired by a larger company. So that may be something I would entertain in the future if that opportunity does come up. So, inshallah, just things for me to think about, but that's my vision. That's my goal of where I want to be.
Okay, no, that sounds good. And now, coming from a corporate side and running your own business now, has it changed you as a person in any shape or form?
Yeah, absolutely. Being your own boss, it has freedom and flexibility, but also an additional added responsibility to, one, to motivate yourself and to constantly be striving for excellence. So, it's really like a no days off type of situation.
Hmm.
You really have to prioritize, determine where your priorities lie, and then also, trying to find the means and the times to operate your business when you have the ability to do so. So, working of multiple contracts, but also having family priority, and obviously with religion and your faith in your community, and trying to balance all of those on top of the business. So it's certainly changed me in that I've had to prioritize, a lot of my responsibilities and take that into account. So I feel like I've matured quite a bit, and I've really am striving to be the best that I could be for not just myself, but for my family as well, and for my community, because I feel that responsibility on my shoulders as well.
Okay, no, definitely excellent. So, outside of work, what are your hobbies or interests?
So I currently have two toddlers, which is probably taken up most of my time and forced me to sacrifice some of my hobbies. But I am very actively involved in the community, and try to participate in any of the events that might be happening at various masajids in the area. But I am also part of a nasheed ensemble, and so it's called Al Qamar Ensemble in the Northern Virginia area. So I practice with my band members, and we often perform at various molids, nasheeds, qasidas, and occasionally here and there a wedding. So that's probably my extent of my hobbies at the moment, free time that I do have.
Okay, thanks for sharing that. I did not know that about you.
Yeah, it's hidden talents that we try to keep.
Yes. All right. Yeah, we always talked about business and stuff in the peer advisory group meetings.
Right.
So that's definitely good to know.
Yes, absolutely.
And anything in particular that you would like to share with the MCOB community here about you or about your work?
Sure. So when I started off in my career, graduating from college, I actually experienced a lot of difficulties in the start of my career. I originally had a very nice job lined up right out of college, but due to some like administrative issues, I ended up losing that opportunity. Then I went to another job, and I worked there for a while, but then strategies changed and I was let go from there. I went to another position, and they decided to outsource their IT department
Mhm.
to India. So the start of my career was a bit uncertain. There was a lot of road bumps in there, and a lot of uncertainty. But just try to maintain my faith and my trust in Allah in order to try to. I didn't see the long term vision. I didn't see what was to come. So I had to really put my trust in my faith and see where it would take me. So Eventually I was given a break at Booz Allen Hamilton, and I moved from Philadelphia to Washington, D.C. And that really kind of launched my career in cybersecurity from there. So, I guess my advice that I would offer those in the community is to, don't, feel like whatever hardships you might be in at any particular moment, don't feel like that's where it's going to be. Allah has a plan that you have to put your faith and your trust in. And, inshallah, you'll see that success as you go further on in your business, and you just stick to it. And, obviously you maintain faith that it'll be successful. And then also would offer the advice is when you do get to a certain point, you also reflect on your past and you have gratitude for where you've come from and where you're going or where you're at right now. And then you also have that vision for the future and you plan for that, and you try your best to strive and achieve for that. So I feel like it's very important to take the time to reflect on your past and see where you've been and where you're at now.
Yeah, no, that's a wonderful piece of advice and a lot of words of wisdom there. We can always look back and then we can connect the dots. When we
Exactly.
are going through a situation, we never know where that situation would lead us to.
Exactly.
So, thank you, Hassan, for being here today. Thank you for being part of AMCOB, and looking forward to seeing you very, very success in your business, as in your personal life. Everything, it's inshallah, it's going to be great as you put in the hard work and dedication that it needs to get you to the next step.
Inshallah. Thank you, Kashif. I appreciate you for having me on today, and I appreciate your support and your advice as a peer. And I'm looking forward to working with you and learning from you and the rest of the community as well, and providing mentorship wherever I can as well to help those that are also starting off, and I don't have to go through the same kind of hurdles that I've been through in the past as well. So
Yes.
I'm always available to offer advice and share my experience with those that are looking for it.
Mhm. All right. Thank you so much, Hassan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Assalamu alaikum.